The letter no one expects. The sky above Los Angeles was pale and heavy that morning. It didn't rain, but the kind of stillness in the air made people look up and wonder if something was coming. Ana de Armas was already on set by 6 a.m., her coffee half finished, her eyes still carrying the tiredness of long nights. She had been working on this film for months now. It was her first time playing such a complicated character, and every day felt like walking a tightrope. She poured her heart into it. Every scene, every emotion, every quiet moment. And still, sometimes she felt alone. But that day, something happened that would change everything. When she opened the door to her trailer, something was off. It was cold inside, too cold. Someone had turned the air conditioner on full blast. She didn't remember doing that. On the small counter beside the makeup mirror, she saw it a single folded piece of paper. No envelope. No name. Curious, she picked it up, thinking it might be a message from wardrobe or a line change from the director. But as she opened it and read the first few lines, her heart dropped. You don't belong here. You're not even that talented. Everyone talks behind your back. The words stabbed deep. Her fingers trembled as she read line after line. It was cruel, calculated, personal. Someone knew exactly what would hurt her the most. The letter didn't just criticize her acting, it attacked her as a human being. Her past, her accent, her family, even her smile. She sat down slowly, staring at the letter, trying to understand. It wasn't just hate. It was venom, and it was written by someone who had spent time with her, someone close. Her trailer door opened behind her. Hay came. A soft voice. She turned. It was Keanu Reeves. Keanu had always been kind to her. Quiet, gentle, but kind. They had only a few scenes together in the film, but he always greeted her with warmth. When others were too busy to notice how tired she looked, he noticed. When she forgot lines during rehearsal and looked embarrassed, he would gently smile and say, "You're doing great." Paused when he saw her face. "Everything okay?" he asked. She quickly folded the letter and forced a smile. "Just tired," she said. He didn't push. He never did. Just nodded and stepped inside, holding 2 coffees. He handed one to her. She took it with both hands, grateful, but her mind was somewhere else. He looked at her for a long moment. "You're sure?" She looked away. "Yeah, but that night, after shooting, she went home and cried. Not because of the letter. Not entirely, but because she believed it. That was the worst part. She stared at the ceiling in her small apartment, the words running through her mind over and over again. And then she made a decision she wouldn't tell anyone, not the director, not the crew. She didn't want drama or pity. Maybe the letter was right. Maybe she really didn't belong. But life is a strange way of working, and kindness has a strange way of noticing the cracks others try to hide. 3 days later, Ana found another letter in her trailer. This one was folded neatly and placed under her script. Her stomach tightened. She hesitated before opening it, but this letter was different. It read, "I don't know who wrote you that first letter, but I know it wasn't me. I know it wasn't true." Her breath caught. "I've seen you work. I've seen how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and how you keep going, even when no one is clapping." She blinked. Her eyes burned. "You don't need to prove anything to anyone, Ana, anymore." It wasn't signed, but she recognized. The handwriting, it was Keanu's. She sat on the small couch in her trailer, the letter in her lap, tears falling silently down her face. Not out of sadness, but out of something she hadn't felt in a long time. Seen, understood, valued, in a place where everyone wore masks. Saw on screen, and off someone had spoken the truth to her when she needed it most. But the story was only beginning, because soon the world would find out, and everything would change. The next morning, Ana walked onto set with a strange kind of calm inside her, like a quiet river just after a storm. Her heart still hurt, but it hurt differently now. It no longer carried the weight of being alone. She tucked Keanu's letter into the back of her journal, the pages already filled with messy thoughts and hopes she never shared. Something about his words gave her courage, not the kind that shouts or makes speeches, the quiet kind, the kind that keeps you standing when everything else wants to fall. But as the cameras rolled and scenes were shot, something in the air began to shift. People noticed her more. Not with kindness, not all of them, but with curiosity and some ... With suspicion, the makeup assistant, usually warm, barely made eye contact. The production assistant who brought her lines every morning now hesitated, almost like walking on eggshells. One of the other actresses whispered something behind her hand when Ana passed. They both laughed. It didn't take long for the rumors to start. Not the loud kind, the poisonous kind. The kind that travels in low voices behind half-open doors. She's playing the victim. She probably wrote it herself for attention. Keanu? Seriously? Why would he care? Ana heard it all, not always directly. Sometimes in broken sentences or through the way people looked at her, then quickly looked away. She didn't know who started it, but it was spreading, and still she didn't say anything. Not to anyone, but silence is loud when it sits too long one. Afternoon, while filming a heavy emotional scene, Ana suddenly froze. Her lines slipped from her mind, lost in a fog. But the cameras kept rolling. Director didn't yell, but the silence behind the camera was sharp. Someone coughed. Someone else sighed. Ana blinked, trying to pull herself back, but her chest felt tight, like the words had been stolen. She turned away, blinking hard. Sorry, she whispered. Keanu stepped forward from behind the set wall. He wasn't in the scene. He wasn't even scheduled to be there, but he was. He walked straight onto the set and handed her a small folded napkin. No words, just a napkin. She opened it, written in his handwriting. They don't know your story, but I believe in your ending. She stared at it for a long moment. Her lips parted, but no sound came. The director called a break. Ana sat on the edge of the set, the napkin still in her hand. Keanu walked over and sat beside her. He didn't ask what happened. Didn't tell her to shake it off or act like a professional. He just said something simple. Do you want to talk? Ana hesitated, then nodded. They sat in the quiet for a long time. No cameras. Crew, just two people who were both carrying more than they let on. She told him about the letter, the first one. She told him she thought maybe she deserved it. She told him she had been trying for years to not feel like an outsider, to be more than a face or an accent or a name on a call sheet. And lately, she felt like she was losing. Keanu listened. Really listened. When she finished, he said something that stayed in her forever. You know, I used to think kindness was weakness, like the world would eat you alive if you didn't harden. But I was wrong. Being kind, even when the world is cruel, it's not weakness. That's courage. Ana looked at him, surprised. Have people been cruel to you? Smiled softly. More than you'd think. For a moment, the set disappeared. The trailers, the scripts, the gossip, all of it faded. What remained was real, something human, something stronger than all the noise. But of course, nothing stays hidden forever, because someone had seen them talking. Someone who had too much time and too little kindness. The next day, Ana's photo was on a blog, grainy, not flattering. It showed her and Keanu sitting together, his hand on her shoulder. The headline read, Keanu's secret comfort to co-star romance, or pity. Ana's phone buzzed nonstop. Texts, DMs, calls, people asking. Questions, fans defending her, others accusing her. The internet had seen a moment of quiet care and twisted it into something loud and messy. But what they didn't know was this. The moment in that photo was the first time Ana didn't feel like a stranger in her own life. She texted Keanu, I'm sorry this is getting messy. His reply came minutes later, kindness is always messy. Don't let it scare you. So she didn't, not yet, because the person who wrote that first hate letter wasn't done. They were closer than she thought, and they were watching. Ana walked slower through the studio halls. Now, not because she was afraid, but because she was listening to footsteps, 2 whispers, 2 doors closing a little too quickly, to the silence after her name was mentioned. Ever since the blog photo went viral, nothing had been the same. The internet had turned something personal into something public. Comments poured in, some supportive, some cruel. Hashtags floated around like wildfire. Keanu lifted her hashtag Ana exposed hashtag trailer truth Ana. Tried to ignore it all. She showed up. She worked hard. She kept smiling. But every day felt heavier than the last. The hate letter haunted her less now, but what replaced it was worse. It wasn't just about her being hurt anymore. It was about not knowing who wanted to hurt her in the first place. That part never left her. One evening, after filming a particularly intense scene, she returned to her trailer. She locked the door behind her, sat on the edge of her small couch, and closed her eyes. Her hand instinctively reached into her journal, touching Keanu's note folded at the back. His words still gave her strength, but just as she relaxed, she noticed something that made her freeze. Her mirror light was on. She never left it on. She slowly stepped forward and saw something on her makeup. Table, a small envelope. No name. Her throat tightened. It was happening again. She picked it up, hands trembling, and opened it. But this letter was different. Shorter, more cruel. It read, "You think he cares? Wait until he finds out who you really are." Her knees weakened. She stared at the letter. Anger and fear twisting inside her. She didn't cry. Not this time. This time was different. Something inside her hardened. She picked up her phone and called Keanu. He answered on the second ring. "Anna." "I found another letter," she said quietly. "I'll be there in 10 minutes, he replied. And he was. When he walked into the trailer, she handed him the paper. His face darkened as he read it. "They're trying to break you," he said. Softly, "They might be trying to break both of us," she whispered. He looked at her, his voice low but steady. "Then we don't let them." "How?" "By finding out who they is." That night, Keanu made a suggestion. Something simple but powerful. "Let's set a trap." Anna hesitated. "You mean," he nodded, "leave a fake letter. Something personal, something tempting. And then we watch." "But what if they don't fall for it?" "Then we keep going. We don't stop until the mask falls." They wrote a fake letter together. Nothing cruel. Just something that looked private. Something that would only interest someone watching her closely. They folded it and placed it under her script. Exactly. Like before, Keanu contacted the head of security quietly, explained everything, and requested a hidden camera in her trailer. He didn't tell the director. He didn't tell the studio. Just one trusted person in security, someone he had worked with on 3 past films. The trap was set. The next 2 days passed slowly. Anna acted like nothing was different. She smiled. She filmed. She nodded politely to everyone. But inside she was burning with questions. Who was it? Was it someone from makeup? From wardrobe? Co-star? Was it envy? Was it something she said without realizing? Keanu stayed close those days. Not too close. Just enough. Enough for her to know she wasn't alone. On the 3rd day, security called. "We got something," the voice said. Anna and Keanu sat in a small, quiet room behind the studio lot, the security footage playing on a laptop screen, and there it was. A shadow. A person entering her trailer. Not the director. Not the producer. Anna leaned forward. Her breath caught. It was a friend. Someone she had trusted. Someone who smiled at her every day. Someone she had invited to her birthday. The assistant actress Leah. Anna's voice shook. Why? Why would she? Keanu said nothing, just reached over and held her hand gently. The video showed Leah pulling out the fake letter. She read it quickly. Her lips moved. She took a photo of it and slipped it back exactly where she found it. It left no hesitation, no guilt. Anna stared at the screen, numb. Its betrayal wasn't loud. It was quiet. Quiet like the sound of someone smiling while holding a knife behind their back. Security agreed to investigate further. No police. Not yet. They needed more proof. But now they knew who to watch. Anna returned to set the next day like nothing had happened, but she was different now. Stronger. Not because she didn't feel the pain, but because she was learning to stand Inside it, and Keanu. It's always there. Not loud, not dramatic, but present. A constant. But something else was happening too. Someone from the outside world had posted Anna's first letter online. The real one. And Anna. Now everyone was asking, who wrote it? Who sent it? And why was it never reported? Anna stared at the screen that night, watching her name trend. Then, she saw a new post from Keanu. A photo of her from set, captioned only with, "When the world tries to break the light, I stand beside." The internet exploded again. But this time, it wasn't noise. It was something else. It was people choosing to believe in her. And suddenly, she wasn't the only one asking questions, because Leah's secret was about to break wide open. The morning after Keanu's post, everything changed. Anna stood in her apartment kitchen, her coffee untouched. Her phone buzzed every few seconds, but she didn't reach for it. Outside, the city roared like always, but inside, a strange stillness filled her chest. For the first time in days, maybe weeks, she didn't feel like hiding. Keanu's single quotes words simple. As they were done something she hadn't expected, they gave others permission to care. Her inbox was full of messages from strangers, actors, even journalists. Some apologized for believing rumors. Others shared their own stories of being torn down by people close to them. Some just wrote, "Thank you for staying strong." But none of that made her forget Leah, the girl who had once shared her salad. On a busy day, the one who had helped fix a broken earring before a red carpet, the one who had whispered jokes during long, tiring shoots, and yet she was the one behind it. Anna still couldn't make sense of it. She didn't tell the public. Not yet, but Keanu was already one step ahead. He was quiet by nature, never one to post more than a few words at a time. But when he believed in someone, he stood tall of it in silence. He asked Anna before he did it, "Are you okay if I speak up a little louder this time?" Anna nodded. "Just be honest." So he posted again, not a photo. This time a short video. His face calm, his voice steady. Sometimes people hurt others because they feel small. They think throwing stones will make them taller. It doesn't. It just shows their fear. But kindness, real kindness, is stronger. To Anna, has been kind. When no one was watching, brave when no one clapped, and honest when it would have been easier to disappear. The internet lit up. #IBelai, Aviana, #stand, with Keanu #. Kindness is strength, but fame is a double-edged sword, because not everyone liked what he said. Leah DN, single quotes. That same day, she posted something of her own. It was subtle. A photo of her and Anna from months ago, smiling on set. The caption read, "Funny how some people act like victims when the cameras start rolling." Anna's heart sank. It was clever not to direct, just enough to stir doubt. The comments exploded. Some defended Leah, others attacked her, but the damage was done. The seed of confusion had been planted again. That evening, Anna sat in her trailer staring at the walls. The silence around her felt sharp. Keanu walked in without knocking. He could read her face the way most people read scripts. "She's trying to flip the story," Ina whispered. "Because she's afraid," Keanu said. "Truth is louder than anything she can post." Anna looked at him. "I didn't ask for this. I know. I just wanted to act, to do what I love." "You still can," he said gently. "But now, you're also showing people what real strength looks like." She looked down. "But what if they turn on me again?" He sat beside her. "Then I'll be here again and again. Every time." That night, Anna opened her journal. She wrote her own. Post not a defense, not an attack, just the truth. She wrote about being tired, about feeling alone, about smiling through pain, about finding a letter meant to break her, and the unexpected kindness that helped her stand. She didn't name Leah. She didn't point fingers. She just spoke like a human being, vulnerable, honest. The post went viral within hours. Thousands of comments poured in. "I've been there too. This made me cry. Thank you for saying what I never could." And quietly, beneath it all, something shifted. People began to ask not if she was telling the truth, but why anyone would try to silence it. Studio producers called her, so did media outlets. They wanted interviews, appearances, exclusives. She said no to all of them, because this wasn't about headlines. It was about healing. And then it happened. The studio opened an internal investigation. Security had provided the footage. Keanu shared everything he knew. And Anna? She gave them the letters. The real ones. Every word of hate. Every sentence soaked in jealousy. She handed it. All over. And suddenly, the quiet backstage drama became a storm behind the scenes. Crew members were interviewed, emails were checked, and finally, Leah was asked to come in. She walked onto set that morning like nothing was wrong. Her makeup perfect, her smile sharp, her eyes unreadable. But everyone knew. Everyone felt it. When she passed Anna in the hallway, she paused. "You're really going to pretend you're the victim?" she said under her breath. Anna turned to her, steady, not angry, just tired. "I'm not pretending," she said quietly. "I just stopped pretending everything was okay." For the first time, Leah didn't have a comeback. Later that day, studio. Security escorted her out. They didn't say much, but they didn't have to. Word spread fast. The mask had fallen, and the one behind the smile was gone. Anna stood on set that evening, the camera rolling, lights hot on her face. Her heart beat fast, but her voice was calm. The scene was about a woman who refused to let the world define her. She didn't even have to act, because she was already living it. When the director called cut, there was a pause then. Someone clapped, then another, then everyone, and for the first time since it all began, Anna let herself smile, a real smile, not the kind that hides, the kind that says, "I survived this." But her story wasn't over yet, because the world hadn't heard Keanu's last word, and neither had she. The air outside the theater that night was electric. Spotlights turned slowly in the sky. Cameras flashed like rain, and fans crowded behind velvet ropes holding signs and phones. It was the final night of the film festival. The night of the big screening. The cast was expected to walk the red carpet together, to smile, to pose, to pretend everything was perfect, but things weren't perfect. And this night wouldn't go how anyone expected. Anna stood backstage in the small dressing room behind the theater. Her gown was elegant, soft silver, with delicate beating down. The sleeves, her hair was done perfectly. But her hands kept shaking. Even in silence, the memories roared. The hate letter, Leah's betrayal, the whispers, the fear. But also, Keanu's voice, his note under the script, his hand on her shoulder when the world went quiet. She looked in the mirror. The makeup team had made her look flawless, but inside, she still carried every bruise the world couldn't see. A soft knock came at the door. "Anna?" It was Keanu. She opened the door slowly. He stepped inside, wearing a black suit. Simple, classic. His eyes calm, his posture relaxed. But she knew him well enough now to see the fire behind his quiet. "You okay?" he asked. "I think so," she said. He smiled gently. "We'll go out together, when you're ready." She nodded, but something inside her felt different tonight. Like something was waiting to happen. Not bad. Not exactly. Just ... big, as they stepped onto the red carpet. The world lit up. Cameras clicked wildly. Voices shouted their names. Questions flew from every direction. "Ina, are the rumors true? Keanu, are you defending her? What really happened on set?" And I kept walking. Keanu stayed beside her, quiet, calm, present, and then they entered the theater inside. The lights were low, the crowd seated, the atmosphere buzzing with excitement. The film would start soon, but before that, the organizers had asked Keanu to say a few words. He was the senior cast member, the most respected. Anna didn't know what he would say, but the moment he stepped onto the stage, she felt it. Everyone. Did he walk to the center, took the microphone, and looked out over the sea of faces? He didn't hold a script. He didn't look at notes. He just spoke. "I've been acting for a long time," began, his voice low and warm. And over the years I've learned something important. Not everything you hear is true. Not every smile is honest. Not every person who stays quiet is weak. The room fell completely silent. Recently, he continued, someone I care about deeply went through something cruel. Not in front of cameras, not in interviews, but in the shadows. They were hurt by someone they trusted. Anna froze. He was talking about her, out loud, in front of everyone. Keanu's single quotes as a voice didn't rise, didn't need to. Instead of striking back, they stayed kind. Instead of gossiping, they kept working. And when the world turned cold, they kept showing up. Paused, then said it clearly. Ana de Armas has shown more courage, more grace, and more strength than most people ever. Will, not because she fought back, but because she didn't let hate change her heart. The crowd didn't cheer, not yet. They were too stunned. His words were raw, real, full of something. The industry didn't often show truth without ego. I've worked with many talented people, he said, but rarely do I see someone carry pain with such quiet dignity. She didn't ask me to speak tonight. In fact, she probably didn't want me to. But I believe in saying something when it matters. He looked down briefly, then up again. So if you've ever been made to feel small, if you've ever been whispered about, if someone tried to break you with silence or words, remember this, your worth is not written by their hate. Your story belongs to you. He stepped back. The crowd stood, one by one, and then together. The applause thundered through the hall. Anna sat frozen, tears slipping silently down her cheeks. Not from sadness, not even from relief, but from something deeper, recognition. She had spent months feeling invisible, broken, unsure if she mattered beyond the role she played. But tonight, she was seen not as a victim, not as a headline, but as a human being. When Keanu returned to his seat beside her, she whispered, "Why did you say all that?" He smiled softly, because someone needed to. The film played. People watched. And for the first time since it all began, Keanu didn't feel like she was acting. She felt real. After the screening, social media lit up again, but differently this. Timed out clips of Keanu's speech spread like wildfire. Fans wept. Young actors shared it, some said. "I've never felt so heard." Others said, "This is why Keanu is loved, not for movies." For moments like this, Anna posted just one sentence that night. "Thank you for standing beside me when I forgot how to stand alone." Still, the story wasn't over. Because the world had seen her pain, they had seen her strength, but soon it would see the truth about who wrote the first letter and why. 2 weeks passed, the world had changed. Anna no longer walked into studios feeling invisible. People looked at her differently now, not because she was suddenly more famous, but because they had seen something real in her, something raw, something they understood deep in their own quiet pain. The video of Keanu's speech had reached millions, but so had the questions, because one question still hung in the air: who wrote the first letter? The cruel one, the one that started everything, Leah, had been removed from the production, but never admitted anything. She denied writing the original letter. Security footage showed her reading a fake one, but not leaving the first. So the truth remained hidden in shadows until the package arrived. Anna received it one morning. It was left on her doorstep, wrapped in plain brown paper, no name. She opened it carefully, her heart already uneasy. Inside was a small notebook, old, worn. She opened the first page. "I'm sorry. I never meant to become this person." The handwriting was unfamiliar, shaky. But as she flipped through the pages, truth spilled out like a storm. It wasn't Leah. It was someone else. Someone even closer. Sarah, her former assistant, a quiet girl who had worked with Anna for a year before leaving the industry. Kind, soft-spoken, always smiling. Anna hadn't seen her in months, but the notebook told everything. Sarah had written the letter out of jealousy, not hate, not at first. She wrote how she loved working for Anna. Over time, she began to feel invisible, like a ghost following someone else's dream. She saw Anna being praised, loved, seen, while she felt like she was fading. I wanted you to feel what I felt. Just once, she wrote. And when I left, I thought it would make the feeling go away. It didn't. It got worse. And then I saw you in the headlines, crying, breaking, and I realized what I had done. It wasn't justice. It was cruelty. Anna closed the book slowly. Tears filled her eyes, not from anger, from sadness. Not because she was betrayed, but because someone had broken. Quietly. And she never saw it. She sat for a long time on the floor, the notebook in her lap. Silence all around her. Then she picked up her phone and dialed Keanu. I know who wrote it, she said. He was quiet for a moment, then gently asked, Are you okay? She nodded. I think I am now. He came over that evening. They sat on the balcony of her apartment, the city glowing below them. She handed him the notebook. He read a few pages, then closed it. What are you going to do? He asked. Anna thought for a long time. Then she said something he didn't expect. Forgive her. Keanu turned to her. Just like that. Anna shook her head. Not just like that. It took time. Tears and your letters. But, yes. I don't want to carry it anymore. I want to let go. He nodded. Double quotes, I think that's the bravest thing you've done yet, he said. And she smiled. The next morning, Anna posted something simple online, a photo. Of the sky above her, the caption read, Sometimes people hurt others because they're hurting too. I don't excuse it, but I choose not to carry it anymore. I forgive you, whoever you are. I hope you find your peace. She didn't name Sarah. She didn't need to, but somewhere. Sarah read it and wept. Anna returned to work weeks later, the film. Wrapped. The reviews were kind, but something had changed. Not the headlines, not the interviews. Something deeper. Anna walked taller. Now, not because she had won a fight, but because she chose peace when the world wanted war. And Keanu. He stayed by her side. Quiet as always. Gentle. Wise. When someone asked him in an interview why he defended her, he simply said, Because kindness is the only thing that lasts. And maybe that's what the story was always about. Not the letter, not the pain, not even the betrayal, but the choice to be kind. Even when the world gave you every reason not to be.